I'm gonna regret it. I shouldn't do it, right? I don't know. I'll probably do it. Hey guys, it's Karen, also known as Not Fancy Knitter. I'm coming to you from Chicago, where I live with my husband, our 3 kids, and our 2 dogs, Max and Alonzo. This is a knitting podcast, although today there's even a little bit of crochet. What? I know. Who am I? I don't even know anymore. There's a lot to do in this episode. We have finished objects, works in progress, crochet. There's a new local yarn store in town called Bloomin Spindle, and I'm going to take you along to get a good look at it. Also, if you stick around to the end, there is a chance to win some free yarn for the 3,000 subscriber giveaway for this channel. So definitely stick around for that. It is a good one, trust me. Let's get into it. So I do have a finished object. I finished my Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. It is an all-over stockinette hat that's knit in the round. You cast on at the top, at the crown, and then increase until it's as wide as you want it. Knit down in a giant tube, and then decrease at the bottom. And then stuff the ends into each other so that you have a double thick hat that is squishy and wonderful. This is my second one that I've made. It's a great way to showcase yarn that you love. I made this one out of Earth Yarn's Unique Fingering. It is a self-striping sort of rainbow gradient thingamabobber. It's hard to explain. But my daughter loved it. She's 6, she's in 1st grade, and really the more rainbow the better. So as soon as I cast off, or bound off, she snatched it and has been wearing it ever since. It was 80 degrees in Chicago last week, and it is 30 today, so, you know, welcome to spring. So there's still plenty of time for a hat, and I'm glad that she likes it. In my opinion, I think it's a little bit too big for her. It's a little wide. She does like a slouchy hat, so the length is pretty good, but it's a little bit wide. I'm debating shrinking it a little bit in the dryer. I know, don't do it, right? But I've done it before with other knits. I put my no frills sweater in the dryer for like 3 minutes, and it just shrunk up the tiniest bit, and now it fits perfectly. So I'm toying around with doing that. I'm gonna regret it. I shouldn't do it, right? I don't know. I'll probably do it. I'll keep you posted about how it goes. Cross your fingers, because I'm gonna need some luck. But anyway, she doesn't mind. I asked her if it was too big, and she was like, nope, it's good. So she ran off to school with it. That is my only finished object. And as far as works in progress, I have been working almost exclusively on a single project. So I will show you. It is the Dot Sweater by Knitting for Olive. I'm knitting it for my daughter. I have 2 other kids, but she's the only one that really likes knitwear, so she gets all the things. This is in the size 8. She's 6, so by next year, this should fit pretty good. So this is where I'm at. You can see, hang on, that's my progress keeper. It's a cute little sock that I'll check the name on in a minute. I have the card. But that's where I was last week. I've knit a ton on this. I'm just plowing away at the body. It's all over color work. There's supposed to be 12 rows of dots from the arm separation down to the hem. So I'm on my 7th, which means I got 5 more to go. I've been doing like a dot row and a half every day. So I'd say by next week I'd be done with the body, and then I can deal with the sleeves and what I'm going to do with those. I'm still not really sure what I'm going to do with those. But let me talk a little bit about this sweater. Like I said, this is the Dot Sweater for Kids by Knitting for Olive. It is an all over colorwork pattern that I am completely in love with. I am knitting it out of, my main color is these 2 yarns held together. It's the Crochet Baby Feet sock. It's a 4-ply in the colorway Party Powder. It's 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 10% tencel. It is just a white with these crazy pops of speckle in all different colors. I love it, and I'm holding it with an undyed mohair that I had left over from when I was dyeing yarn. So together, they make kind of a DK, I guess, and it's just this neutrally background you can see at the collar. It's mostly cream, but you can see the speckles popping out every which way. I was a little worried it would be too much with the color work, but it's not. It looks good. I think it looks good. So that's my main color, and then my dots I'm knitting out of Noro Yukata in the colorway Kyoto. This is 50% silk, 25% wool and 25% polyamide. It's a sport weight, and it's like really interesting yarn. I don't think I talked that much about it. Some of it is kind of barber poly. It's hard to see on the... some of it is, it's kind of an uneven texture. Some of it's really thick, some of it's thin, and it just moves from one color to the next. It's not really self-striping, it's more of a gradient, and I love it. I think it's great. I think it's working really well in the sweater, and it sort of eliminates all of those ends and all of that color planning that I would have to do for a sweater like this, because that is not my strong suit. So that's going well. I will say I separated for sleeves, and somehow my stitch count was off, but my color work still lined up. I don't know, my dots look good. They're not weird. Like, the pattern totally works. I had enough stitches, but I didn't have a stitch count that lined up with any of the sizes. I mean, I was close. I don't know. This happened in my spot sweater too, which is another all over color work. I cast on the right number of stitches. I had the right number before the sleeve separation, I think. And then I just was like, that's not right. But whatever, it's working out. The pattern still flows. The color work is good. And I'm just pretending that it's good, that it's fine. I think it's fine. I don't know why that keeps happening. Maybe I just can't count. It's possible. It's entirely possible that I just have lost the ability to count. I mean, so much else has been lost over the years. I would not be surprised if that was also lost as well. So that's going well. I am a little, like I talked about before, I was a little worried about what I'm going to do for the sleeves, because the dots are not going to match up, obviously. Even if I manage to get the sleeves, the one sleeve to match the second sleeve with the dots, it's not going to match the colors of the body because the circumference is different. What I'm toying around with doing is, when I finish the body, I'll see where I am, and then just finding the spot in the gradient where it matches up to where the sleeves are. So I'm kind of on that bluish part of the gradient. I don't know if you can see. Like, I'm right here for the sleeve separation. So if I could find this part of the gradient, then maybe I'll just keep on going with that and then try to knit the sleeves 2 at a time. I say that like I know how to do that. I actually don't know how to knit anything 2 at a time, but I can figure it out, right? But like 2 at a time color work, that might be bad. That sounds bad when I say it out loud. Sounds like something I wouldn't want to do. I don't know. That is a project for next week. That's a problem for next week, Karen, to solve. But whatever it is, however it works out, it's going to be fine because, like I said, my daughter doesn't care that the dots don't match. She won't care if the sleeves don't match. She probably would prefer it. So either way, it's going to be great. Let me talk a little bit about that progress keeper because I have the card here. It is called a Lost Sock Stitch Marker from Firefly Notes. I'm not familiar with Firefly Notes. It says they're from Richmond, BC. British Columbia. So they have an online shop. I will put it in the show notes below along with everything else. So if you see a pattern or a yarn or a maker or anything that we talk about here, it'll be linked down below so you can get a little more information. If I leave anything out, feel free to get a hold of me. You can leave a comment down below. I don't always respond to everyone, but I do read them all. You can always email me at ayarntale@gmail.com and I'll respond that way, or you can DM me on Instagram or TikTok as knotfancyknitter, and we'll work it out. Reach out. I would love to hear from you. I love getting comments and hearing what people are up to. So please do reach out if you have something that you if you just want to say hi. So this is the dot sweater. It's going great. Of course, it will be finished just in time for summer in Chicago, which is perfect, an all-over colorwork mohair sweater. But it is actually quite big for my daughter. She's a really small 6-year-old, and this is a size 8. So I think we're spot on for next year. So dot sweater, A-okay. And then my only other work in progress. I have other things that I've talked about in the past, but I haven't worked on them since my last episode, so I'm not going to drag them out and make you look at the same thing twice. But what kind of has been sucking up all my time in a way I did not anticipate is I thought to myself, I should figure out something to do with all my scraps. I have a lot of fingering weight scraps. I'm looking over here because they're all dumped out on the table over there. But I have a lot of fingering weight scraps left over from different projects over the years, and I never know what to do with them. I started a stripy blanket and I just got super bored with it and ended up frogging it, and I just could never find the right thing. So I was like, well, maybe I could learn how to crochet. And I actually toyed around with doing like a 30-day crochet challenge because I do love a good 30-day challenge. I will watch 1,000 30-day challenge videos of anything. Like, I challenged myself to wake up early. I challenged myself to cut out sugar. I mean, why? But I do like watching them. So I was like, maybe I should do a 30-day crochet challenge. Then I was like, well, let's see if I like crochet before I start a 30-day challenge. So I was like, I'm going to crochet a granny square and see if I like it. So I crocheted a granny square, a tiny one, out of some fingering weight scraps, just off of some video on YouTube, like a tiny little granny square, cute. And it was super fun, and it does not take long. I mean, obviously, anyone who has crocheted will tell you it's super quick, especially when they're this tiny. So then I just kind of like was on a roll, and I made a million. I did nothing else. Now, I don't even know, like, why. How did it happen? I don't know how it happened. There's like a purple one. There's a pink one. Look, there's so many. It never gets old. Like, just when you're tired of it, you're like, oh, that one's done. And I was weaving in my ends as I go. I read somewhere that you can crochet over them, and I tried to do that, but I was really inconsistent, so I was not convinced that crocheting over them would keep them secure enough that they wouldn't like work their way up. So I am just weaving them in as I go. I toyed around with joining them as I go. Like, why? For what? I don't know. A blanket or something? I don't know. But I haven't done it because, oh, here's one. I tried to weave in as I tried to crochet over, and this little bit popped out. So, like, I don't like that. I'm just going to weave them in the regular way. I read that you can join as you go, but I don't want to do that, primarily because some of my scraps I have the very smallest amount of. Like, let me grab one over here. I have, like, for instance, oh dear, this little bit is all of this blue that I have. This was actually some leftover bits from when I was dyeing for the Stephen West MCAL. So I have like little nuggets like this that will go into a few granny squares, but it's not going to be able to be, you know, like all over the place. So if I were knitting a crocheting, sorry, it's hard to even change my language. If I were crocheting a blanket, if I use these into a crochet blanket, and I join them as I go, then that blue will only show up in the very beginning, which I'm not going to like. So I think I'm just going to weave in the ends as I go and join them later, which there's a decent chance I will end up with 200 or so granny squares and then really struggle to join them because I'm not a big fan of finishing. But I'm just gonna hope that I am motivated when that time comes. And that way I can space out some of the granny squares that only have a certain particular, I can make the colors look good if I have them all at my disposal at that time. So I have 16 so far, which I think is basically like one row across. They're about 3 inches a pop. So 3-inch squares. They're so cute. And my kids are actually really into picking colors because each one I've been doing 4 colors. And so they like color comboing, you know what I mean? I have them all in a bag. Oop. I have them all in a project bag and my scraps, and they just dig around and they're like, oh, these should go together. No, these, right? So it's been really fun. My only complaint is, and this is my own fault, I thought I had a bunch of crochet hooks. I mean, I do have a couple of crochet hooks of various sizes for when I do professional cast-ons or, you know, whatever, just for fixing things. But for fingering weight yarn, you need kind of a small hook. And my only small one is not a crochet hook at all. It is this little fix-it tool that has a hook on the end and a pointy end on the other end. So I have been using this, which is horrible because it's too short and pokes me when I use it. I don't even know what size it is. I don't know what size it is. So I need to get a real crochet hook. Like, I'm not gonna be able to crochet a whole blanket with this thing. I will probably lose all the feeling in my wrist and stab myself in the process. If you have crochet hooks that you like, or like a brand of crochet hooks that you like, or whatever, I would love to know where you get them or what is good. Also, what size hook do you use for fingering weight yarn? This is super tiny. I mean, it looks tiny to me. I don't know, like a tiny thing. I was thinking of just going and picking up a few different sized tiny ones and see if I can match it up as to which one this is. This is the Susan Bates like little fix-it tool, and it didn't say on their website or I had like a package how big that hook is, because it's really just for picking up drop stitches and things. Although in a pinch, it does work for granny squares because I was able to make 16 of them. So I got that going on. It's been weird. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even like a huge fan of the look of the granny square. I didn't think so, but I guess I am because I can't stop doing it. It's like really addictive. I mean, you can make one of these in like half an hour, and I'm not at all fast. And I think I just am really invested in that sort of instant gratification. It is really fun, and you can just play with color, and I feel really virtuous for using all of my scraps because I have so many scraps just floating around, and it always sort of bothers me, like, what am I ever going to do with those? Probably nothing, but I don't want to get rid of the yarn. I mean, it's beautiful yarn. So, I mean, good. It's working, right? It's working. So at this rate, I will have a crochet granny square blanket by December, which probably means I'll have one by December 2025, because at some point I assume the novelty will wear off on the granny square blanket and I will peter off. I've been doing like 2 a day, which is not that much. But it's, it's fun. So that is it. If you can believe it, that is it for my works in progress and my finished objects. I have a couple more sweaters on the go and some small projects, but like I said, I haven't worked on them since the last time, so we're just going to hold off until the next time, and hopefully there'll be some more progress. But what I do have is something to celebrate. So this channel recently hit 3,000 subscribers, which I'm super excited about, and you know what that means. It is time for a giveaway. So I thought it would be a great idea to go to a new local yarn store in the Chicago area called the Bloomin Spindle. It's in Portage Park, which is a neighborhood on the northwest side, and it's out on Irving Park if you're familiar with the area. So I saw they opened last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and I saw some really cute pictures on Instagram, and I was really bummed I couldn't go opening weekend because weekends are crazy for me with kid activities and family stuff. So let's head on over and you can see what it looks like. Let's go. So while I was at the Bloomin Spindle, I picked up a couple of things for prizes. The first is this skein of yarn from Gnome Depot Fiber. Gnome Depot Fiber is dyed by Grace Cocking, who is the teacher who taught the intermediate brioche class at YarnCon that I attended. She is super kind and patient and a lovely yarn dyer. This particular skein is the Enoki 2-ply fingering. It's 400 yards for 100 grams, 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and it is gorgeous. I mean, it's this incredibly vibrant blue with these speckles. It is in the colorway Almond Blossom. I love it. But I'm gonna give it to you guys as a thank you for subscribing. Also, I picked up another one of these little sock progress keepers from Firefly Notes. It's just like the one I have on my dot sweater, except it's pink. It has a lobster claw at the top, and it's like a little enamel progress keeper. Super cute. So if you would like a chance to win these prizes, please like this video and leave a comment below, and I'll do a random comment picker. Just choose a comment from below and send off these prizes. If you have not yet subscribed and you like this kind of video, please consider subscribing. It makes me really happy and it makes it easier for other people to find us. So thank you and good luck. So if you're new to this podcast or if you haven't watched in a while, you may not know we have a knit along going on called the You Can Do It KAL. So there's 3 ways to enter. You can post with the hashtag You Can Do It KAL on Instagram, or you can post in the Ravelry group for this podcast. There's a subthread for the knit along, or you can email me your entries to yarntale@gmail.com. I encourage you to enter any which way that you can. I'll pull winners from Instagram and Ravelry. It runs April 1st to June 1st, so you have plenty of time. You do not actually have to finish your item in order to enter, because I can never finish projects in time for the end of knit-alongs, and it always makes me sad. And we don't want people to be sad around here. You know what? Everyone who participates should have a chance to win. So please feel free to enter, send your posts, things that you're working on, and we'll enter you for prizes. My second skein that I got, I'm going to use for the knit-along. This is Beehive Yarns, which is a hand-dyed yarn company from the UK. This is Equinox in the dusty colorway. It is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. 400 meters or 437 yards per 100 grams. And it is just so springy. I mean, there's the greens and the pinks and beautiful speckling. I cannot get over it. I mean, this is gorgeous. And with that cashmere in there, you can really feel it. It is so soft. I mean, so this will be a prize for our knit along. I have a couple of other prizes as well. So if you have the chance, please do post your projects or finished objects in the Ravelry group and the Instagram hashtag for a chance to win this as well. So that's pretty much all I got. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm always so grateful when you choose to spend time with me. I love to hear what you're working on, so feel free to pop a comment below and let me know how your spring is going and how things are working out. My dog Alonzo has recently decided that he is a menace to society and has been chewing up all of our shoes and toys and things. So he recently got a dog trainer, which means I am being trained because, you know, the dog trainers really train the people. That's like the best kept secret out there. So I've been working on that. I'm trying to be a better dog owner. He's doing great. He's still super cute, thankfully, or he would be out on the street looking for a new family. I mean, he's gotten so many shoes. But hopefully those days are behind us and he is a reformed individual. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your crafting is treating you well, and happy knitting.